on YouTube now?
Good.
We're live.
What's going on, everyone? It's Adam and Craig with Grandstand Golf. This is our round 3 DFS Showdown target show for the 2021 Arnold Palmer Invitational. Craig, it was an exhilarating morning for me, a good afternoon. The cut was nerve-wracking a little bit. I don't know how it was for you. What did you think? What did you think of Friday's round?
I thought it was pretty exciting. I thought it was pretty good. The suspense over DeChambeau, will he, won't he? I thought there was, I think it was nice. I mean, maybe not nice, but I think it would be a little bit boring if Rory and DeChambeau kind of just were running away with this. I think that if one of them do end up winning this, I want to see them have to go through a little bit of adversity.
I don't think it'll be boring if it's the two of them. I think
if they were both out there together,
always
I think it's just if one person was out there running away with
sure.
it.
Yeah.
Like Patrick Reed a few weeks ago at the Farmers.
Bryson is a bit of a tease. I mean, I think that was a cross breeze today on 6. I don't know. He could have gone for it. He was hyping himself up. Apparently, he's talking to the crowd. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that it's one of those things. If he wasn't in contention, I think he'd be more apt to go for, more likely to go for it.
What's going on, everyone in the chat? Great chat. Starting from the top, William, looks like you had a great day. That's awesome. Finishing 11th. That's an excellent lineup, man. Next time we'll get the number 1 spot. And yeah, thank you everybody else for joining us. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you hadn't already. Thank you everybody for joining us later on as well.
Yeah, Corey Connors at the top. It's nice to see. I'd love to see Corey Connors if he can hold on. I do worry a little bit. We'll get into the weather here in a sec, but the wind might be a little bit harder on him. He is definitely a ball striker, and so scrambling may not necessarily be the strength of his game.
I mean, if he can have a hot putter for 4 rounds, I think he's super dangerous. But that's my biggest worry is we know he's one of the best ball strikers in the game. Like, he is excellent tee to green.
Yeah, for sure.
I worry about his 4-round putting potential. And can he have an off?
I also just worry about the fact that Victor Hovland, Rory McIlroy, and Bryson DeChambeau are right there. That's an intimidating leaderboard to be the one with a small lead.
If it was Bermuda or RSM or one of these, maybe not as intense fields, maybe, but with those guys breathing down your neck.
And you'd even look at this group of guys at -5: Paul Casey, Sanjay, Justin Rose, Jordan Spieth. There's a lot of names on this leaderboard. It could be a spicy little weekend of golf.
There's some major winners. There's some up and coming talents. The guys I look over at: Tommy Fleetwood, Max Homa, Fitzpatrick, Zalatoris, Kokrak. Like, there's a lot of guys that could hang around here. My one and done Bez is on the first page of the leaderboard. How about that?
I was thinking that. I was also thinking you were just 1 week off on your Zalatoris Rose bet.
Well, I mean, there's still 2 strokes away, but still, I like to see Rose up there.
Yeah. I actually had some showdown action with him today, so I was enjoying it too.
Well, let's talk about showdown action. So we went 1.11 over in round 1, a little bit easier today, 0.67. As we said, the cut was +2. For DFS 6 of 6, that was about 12% went through. Our round 2 picks, Craig, that's better than
mine were good at the top. Norlander was a bust. He could not really hit the broadside of the barn with a putter today, it looked like.
Yeah, Tringali was a bust, but I mean, we're looking for pivots. That's why I'm not saying here's Connors. I'm saying here's the pivot off Connors,
Who was your lower one? Bez?
Now I'm blank. Oh, Gim. Gim finished +1.
Yeah.
It's
fine. Not really getting it done, but it wasn't as bad as Norlander.
It wasn't as bad. It won't hurt you that much.
Yeah, I do think I ended up building quite a few balanced lineups, and they did pretty well. I missed on a lot and still managed to get a positive ROI on the day. So that just feels to me like, I feel like if I'm not hitting big, but I'm still getting positive, it feels like you're kind of just like, just treading water, just floating by into the next day, which I'm okay with.
Big R Colts fan said Paul Casey 50-1 to win Players. We actually released our Players preview a little bit early, so if you guys want to check that out, that is on our channel now. Paul, it's a ball strikers. I don't know. I would love to see Paul Casey get that major. I know the Players isn't a major, but get that big win. Yeah. It's His time's running out a little bit.
Yeah. Now 6 of 6s. I think that Hatton, what, 4 birdies? Did you see his? I didn't actually. I wasn't able to watch that, but his shot tracker, like he chipped in twice, I think, or no, he chipped in once. He dropped a bomb. It was just crazy little stretch there for him to make the cut. But yeah, he definitely would have moved that 6 of 6 line, I think.
Yeah, I was watching when they were on 17, and him, Molinari, and Rory all had like within 3 feet of each other the same 25-foot putt, and Molinari and had made it. It's pretty
Nice.
cool because I'm blanking on the announcers now, but he said, Molinari made the first one. One of these guys is going to get it, and Rory just missed it, and Hadden did it. It was good. It was good
Nice,
TV.
nice, nice. Now, I think the big story for tomorrow is going to be this forecast we see here. Big winds, big gusts. It's going to be a little bit of carnage. It's going to look, I think, a lot more like last year than we have seen thus
Yeah.
far.
Yeah, I mean, so if you have 6 of 6 through, be happy. They're over the course of 36 holes, they're going to get points, but it's going to move all around. If you're in the top 10 right now of a GBP, that could swing so like
Yeah, but
there's gonna be
also
huge
don't be
swings.
like too upset if you've got a good 5 of 6 through. If scoring is tough on the weekend, sometimes
Yeah,
people
guys
get
get eject for sure.
5 or 10 points in a round. So it's not exactly like if you have a good 5, that's going to be a lot of bad. Like I want to say my 10th and 12th place of 20 lineups are my 6 of 6s through. So I'm probably going to have 5 of 6s that outscore them, depending on what the leaderboard does in the weekend. And if
If those
scores
six of
aren't
sixes,
low, then that extra guy is not going to do a ton on the weekend.
yeah, if Harold Varner the third hits the wind and
Yeah, I was
ejects,
gonna
I mean, he
say,
might not be good in
remember
his six of
remember one of my
six.
credos that I learned. When was
Yeah,
that at Genesis? Never play Harold Varner in the wind.
and
Yeah,
Bermuda. He's backed it up a couple times, but yeah, it's gusts 30 miles per hour, 1-2 o'clock. First group out. I think first person is Pat Perez at 7:30. So, first couple groups, if you want to take some risks there, they might have better conditions to
yeah. So I
score.
don't have any of like the first couple groups out just because they were loaded up with people like Norlander that I didn't want to throw at you guys again. But
Yeah,
I do think it's a place like I definitely will be playing some of those guys just on the off chance that that's the best little pocket of weather for the
yeah.
day. Last groups I want to say are about 1:30. So they will be playing. They might get a little bit of calmness on the very, very tail end of their round, but I think essentially they're going to be playing through the thick of it.
Yeah. I guess I should add. I got 25, 30%, 6 of 6 through, one with Connors. So happy about that. Let's see what happens. Yeah. So if you didn't get at the top when I say the morning was exciting, that was Ricky Fowler going from +5 to +2 with about 5 holes. If you're not in our Discord, it was electric. It was stressful. So thanks, Peck, on the Fowler. Let's see. Hopefully, you can get some points on the weekend. But kind of like Sergio last week, I'm just happy that it's
Yeah,
okay.
and if Reed
It's
misses the cut, like if any of those guys up top are gonna miss the cut, I'm pretty okay that it was Reed. I'd rather Patrick Reed miss than any of the other 4 that I had loaded up on up top.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
you good to go? You want to jump into some round 3 picks?
Let's do it. Let's do it. Paul Casey. Okay, so it's windy. You guys know I'm leaning on the classy guys this week. Maybe there might be a European influence. I took a peek at some apexes. I want some guys that can play in the wind, can get up and down. Maybe not necessarily the typical birdie makers, but more of the bogey avoiders. I got Paul Casey, 9,200 on DraftKings. I think he was one of my picks pre-tournament. He was one of your picks for today's round. Great bogey free, 69 today. He got 1 eagle, 7 birdies, 4 bogeys over the course of 2 days. He's 5 under. I mean, his irons are brilliant. I mean, he is a ball striker. His approach play is absolutely crazy. He's been
Hmm.
+3 in
Yeah.
both days. Like you said yesterday, he is losing strokes off the tee. So again, I look back, what has he done? Not just kind of for his career. We know he's a good ball striker. What has he done recently with his strokes being off the tee? In 2021, he has gained in 11 of 14 rounds prior to this tournament. So I think he can hit few more fairways. I think he's absolutely battle tested in the wind. His around the green play so far, 26, has been strong. His putter has been absolutely fine enough. It could have a great day, but he's putting it well enough. I think he just looks really good right now.
Yeah, and I can't remember, but I want to say he was more negative than that off the tee. So I think he actually gained strokes off the tee today.
A little bit, like he was just over 0.
Yeah.
He's positive.
I want to say like maybe positive 0.19. I want to say it was minus 1.95, but don't quote me on that.
There you go. Yeah.
Have to calculate it out to 3 degrees and then carry it. Just messing with you. Yes, I like the play. It has gone up in price a little bit, but I think that'll be counteracted by ownership. So yeah, I like the play. He'll be in my pool for sure tomorrow.
Yeah.
My first one here. I'm going with the boy that just managed to squeak into the cut. I don't know if our brother's out there somewhere. This is his one and done pick, man. So he must have been sweating it hard. Tyrrell Hatton, 9,300. He went 77-67 to shoot even par through 2 rounds. 7 birdies, 7 bogeys. You look down at what he did. He just had an atrocious putting day on the first day. And I think he actually was positive his second day. So we see minus 3.5 strokes putting. He was like minus 4 essentially on his first day and gained a little bit back. Other than that, his ball striking is decent, not great. He's typically a good approach player, so hopefully we see a little bit better than that from him on the weekend. And his round the green, I think a lot of that has to do with how he managed to get into the under the cut, because a few hole out and a few little shots will do it pretty quickly. But really the thing is, for me, he is going to be out early. I want to say it's a 9:25 tee time, if I remember correctly. So it's not, like if you look at when that wind starts to pick up, it's not like he's out before it, but maybe he just gets a little bit of that, first 6 holes, maybe it's a little bit of easier conditions. But then I think the other thing to me, last year it was windy. Tyrrell Hatton won it. So I think he's a good wind player, but I also think he's shown that he can play well in the wind here. I think he's a grinder. I think he'll do a pretty good job in adverse conditions. I know people like to think of him as a hothead that, and I'm not saying he's not a bit of a hothead or like looks like it. I don't think he lets it affect his game. I think he'll be demonstrative and he'll let his emotions show, but I think he's just as likely to make a birdie after he looks like he's super pissed off at what just happened as he is letting that tilt him and make a bogey.
I think that's just his release. That's his coping mechanism. That's just who he is, and I'm completely fine with it, to be honest. I mean, like him, Matsuyama, those type of guys, like those really good players, when they go 77 on opening round and the cuts like positive, they still have a chance. I love obviously win players tomorrow, but having win players on the course that they're playing is just like that extra like cherry on top. So yeah, I like Hatton. He's gonna.
I'm a little bit curious what'll happen with his ownership, because obviously his number doesn't pop out, but he had a really good round today and he's last year's winner, so I don't think it'll be as low as typically would think it'll be for someone who has just barely squeaked in under the cut.
Yeah. Let's take a pause here. There's a couple questions. I'm trying to catch up a little bit. Do you want to talk Burns?
No, let's do that at the end. Let's get into Burns and Davis at the end.
Okay.
And we'll get into the beer at the end too.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, you're up.
But leave the questions in the chat. We'll get to them. We promise we will. Kevin Na is my next pick here, 7,900. He's gone 71, 71, -2. Very consistent. 6 birdies, 4 bogeys. Kind of looking through his card, he's been very steady. Plus, 27th in putting, 37th around the green, 33rd in approach. A little bit worse off the tee, 86, but that's not his game. The guys I'm going to kind of round out the bottom of my showdown rosters here. I want, I worry a little bit with the ball strikers in the wind. I feel like that's kind of opposite of what most people think, but I want guys that can save their pars, get birdies, possibly even like if they go in trouble, save their bogeys. I want strong putters. I think that brings a floor that in this kind of brutal weather is needed. I think Kevin Na is exactly that type of player. He's had a great year as well. He's gained over 2 strokes, gained total in 8 of his 18 rounds to start the year. Obviously, he had that win. he's just playing good golf at 7,900. I think he's a good play.
Yeah, his Instagram game's strong too, so you have to take that into account. No,
Cute family, really,
really cute family. What's her name? Little Sophie or Sophia or something? She's got her own Instagram. It's pretty cute.
Really?
Yeah. Anyways, I think it's a good play. I think there's upside there. So typically when I'm doing showdowns, I'll kind of have a core of players that I'll have in, the 30 to 40%. I don't make my my player pool as large. I probably have more guys in the 30 to 40% range than I do for my tournament long. But then I'll have guys that, maybe I'll have in 10, 15, 20, and I think he'll likely be more that type of guy where I don't have enough faith in him in his floor necessarily to have a large amount of my tickets with him, but I think that there's a decent chance that he pops, and if not, he's a good scrambler. So
yeah, exactly.
Okay, my next one here, I'm staying in actually, Kevin Na.
Staying in the UK.
Yes, Kevin Na. It may end up being a bit of an anomaly for these picks because...
An outlier here.
Because I'm going back to the UK. I'm going Tommy Fleetwood, 8,500 on DraftKings. He's gone 70-70, -4, 7 birdies, 3 bogeys. He's been pretty... So you look at his strokes gain, how he's done it. He did wash one on Thursday, and then he gained strokes off the tee today. So I think he's been fairly balanced. Obviously, like one swing like that can have such a huge... When we have such a small sample size, it can have such an impact, a disproportionate impact on those things. So I just really think he's playing well across the board. I do worry a little bit because there's a few other shot tracker drives where he's been a little bit around. It seems almost like everyone's doing that though. Like I think it's just a very hard course to drive well on. Driving accuracy is sort of at a premium. But I like the shape his ball striking's in. I like the shape his short game's in. I think we're getting Tommy Fleetwood at a price that is indicative of the fact he hasn't been playing good golf. So I think that looking back to when he was playing good golf on the PGA Tour, he didn't really play that great for the 2020 season, 2019-2020 season. Yeah. But looking back at the 18-19 season, and I'm going to say he was maybe top 10, just outside of top 10 in strokes gained total. He didn't do it. He wasn't like a birdie machine. He was more of a bogey avoidance guy. He was tied for 4th that year in bogey avoidance. And I think that's going to be a little bit more what we need this weekend. Typically showdown, you're wanting guys that are going to make birdies, but the way this course is going to be playing, I want them to be avoiding bogeys and then maybe taking advantage of par 5s. And if they squeak out a -3, even a -2 is not going to be that bad the way the course is going to play tomorrow. So I think Tommy Fleetwood is the kind of golfer that is good at that type of thing. So I just think it's good value. I think it's going to set up well to suit what he does well, and I'll be taking shots with him.
I'm a Tommy Fleetwood truther. I think he's got great talent. It's been kind of hard to see him not perform well, but if he can turn it around like we know he can, I kind of disagree. Like I think he is quite a birdie maker too when he's on. Like I remember like I'm losing track of my years now, but like 3 years ago, it seemed like he was one of the best approach players, one of the best ball strikers out there. Like he could go as low as anybody, and seeing good Tommy again is just fun to watch, especially coming into players and majors. Because I think he's a sneaky kind of guy in those type of tournaments as well. But yeah, I like him to roll.
Yep. Okay, last one, Adam. What you got?
Last one, Ian Poulter, DraftKings 7,400. Yeah, I know. I mean, it's the Euros, it's the putters. That's what I'm sticking with. Okay. Round 170, round 273. He's 1 under, 6 birdies, 3 bogeys, 1 double. His double was today, hitting it in the water on an approach. Not too worried about that, but I think he could have had a better round if he did not have that, obviously. But I think, first off, Martin Laird is 7,500. So I think he's a good pivot off Laird if you want to go somewhere else. Ian Poulter, 7,400 is a good pivot. Again, he hasn't done anything kind of crazy special this week, but he's been really good all around. He's putting pretty well, but he can putt better. He's good around the green. He's fine approach. He's actually better than he should be off the tee. But his approach of those four strokes categories is the worst. So I looked into a little bit. We don't have, obviously, Puerto Rico Open. We didn't have strokes gained approach. So I went with greens and regulation. And his last two tournaments were the Puerto Rico Open, and before that were the Saudi International. So Puerto Rico Open, he had 73% of his greens good for his 17th in the field. And Saudi International, he hit 79% of his greens, tied for 11th. I actually think at Saudi, he was in the top 10 in strokes gained approach. So he was even better than his greens in regulation. Mm-hmm. Just a guy, good floor, battle tested, can play in the wind. I like his ceiling as well. Yeah. It's just, it feels safe. It feels good. It feels like a good pivot. I like.
See, I would say it doesn't feel safe. To me, it's more of I think there's streaky upside there. I think both Kevin Na and Ian Poulter, I would say, are upside potential plays. I think those guys that can kind of get hot with their putter and really pour them in. I mean, I shouldn't say he's not safe. It's just I feel like a +3 could happen pretty easily for Poulter just because of, he just doesn't have the pedigree, but you're not going to get a ton of pedigree down at 7,400. So,
yeah.
But going a lot further down than 7,400, I can't believe we are.
I love this play.
Just
sorry, Stephen Davidson.
We are Eurocentric. I was gonna pull up a map of the wind farm potential of the British Isles, and it's just covered. The whole thing has wind farm potential because they play a lot of windy golf over there. So that might be why we were looking over there. But Robert Macintyre, 6,600 today on for round 3.
What
on DraftKings.
Steal.
It's just an absolute steal to me. He's gone 71, 5 birdies, 3 bogeys. He's -2. To me, it's just a pure value play. He is strong off the tee. That's what he does typically. He's done that so far this week. He's gaining over 2 strokes. 6 in the field. Everything else is somewhat middling. I mean, upper sort of quarter third of the field, but it really has been his off the tee play that has stood out. First off, I just think it's pure value play. His price has gone down. It started. Yeah, I want to say it was 7,100 yesterday for Showdown. I don't know actually what it started at.
7,100, I think, for tournament long term.
So it's just gone down, and I think he's better than the guys who he's priced around now. I'm going to go there. His ownership was like 1% or 2% today, so I don't think a lot of people have him in mind right now. What I like, so looking back at his last 32 rounds. He has rounds like this is one of those ones where it's not a safe floor, but what he has done over these last couple of rounds, gaining a -1 both rounds, maybe gaining 2 strokes one day, a stroke and a half the next. That's not actually super typical for him. He's oftentimes much more of like he'll go streaky very low, or he'll lose or lose a little bit or potentially lose a lot. But the thing that I like is that he has a high proportion of his rounds are over 3.5 strokes gained total rounds. So that to me is those are Showdown winning rounds. You have those on your optimal ticket when a guy is 6,600. So say there's somewhere between a third and just under a 30% chance, say, of that happening. I'll take that at 6,600 and I'll plug him into some lineups, and I will use that to get some combination of Rory, Bryson, Victor Hovland, I'll use that to do a lot of good things with my lineups.
Yeah, this is an over exaggeration, but his price at 6,600, just like our Wednesday show, it just seemed when you look at Connor's at 7,300, it just seems too low for how well they hit the ball and how well they've been playing. Yeah. Bobby Mack at 6,600, probably a little bit popular, but. Yeah, I love it.
But see, and that's the thing where I think it will be a little bit popular. He's the one, if you look at the pricing around there is Richie Werenski.
Sure. Who had a good round today.
I'm going to say he's -4, but otherwise Bobby Mack's -2 stands out a bit from the guys around there. We got Kevin Bapty claiming his boy in the chat. He's probably feeling pretty good about his Hatton one and done. Well, maybe not super good because both our guys are up in the top, but he's feeling good about a cut made. So yeah, let's get to some questions. Just real quick, Adam, I just want to ask you. So, I'd said use Bobby Mack to plug in Bryson, Rory, Hovland. Are you playing all 3 of those guys?
So I don't know how many tickets I'm going to enter tomorrow. I have one so far, and it has Bryson.
Okay.
I still Bryson didn't have the best day today, but I back up what I said yesterday. I think his floor, because I mean, if he goes 1 under, it's usually like 5 birdies and 4 bogeys. Like he just gets points. Like he gets a ton of points.
Do you worry at all that your apex theory is not applicable to the two best players in this field? That are the two highest ball strikers?
I wish JT was here. Yeah, my apex theory for all those 3 picks, I agree. It's not. It's just like another thing. It's not I don't live and die by it. It's just one thing. I'm like, hey, maybe they have a low apex and they can cut it through the wind a little bit easier.
And like what I say, I'm just making fun of you, but I think Rory McIlroy can flight his ball how he wants to flight his ball.
Absolutely.
So like it's just 100%. I think that for some people it's not a stretch. For the top players in the world, yes, they could do different things, but for the 100th best player in the world, you might want someone who's just a natural low ball flyer. But yeah, exactly. Okay, so Burns and Davis.
I got a question. Just as I was trying to keep up as we went along here, Gerard. Thank you for the love. But I'm going to ask. I think you asked a question about weather, so I'm not exactly sure what it means. So you might need to elaborate on that one for me.
He says everything.
Burns,
you guys
Davis.
Pick this weather guy, but I never see him in the DraftKings player pool. I would pick the weather tomorrow if that was an option, but I don't know if that was an autocorrect or what.
I don't know. Okay, so Burns Davis.
I mean, I think both of them just made too many bogeys. I haven't looked through their scorecards in detail. I think, both of them, takes on what they did this week. Yeah, I think they just made too many mistakes. I think both of them, I wasn't super heavy. I want to say I was 10% on both of them for the tourney long, so it didn't hurt me that much.
You avoided that area quite a bit,
with the way I went about it this week. I think that they're more upside. Like, I don't think they have safe floors any week. I think they are much more. Their upside is what makes them plays. So them missing a cut. I think so. I have both of them in my single entry over on FanDuel. So it's definitely hurts for both of them to miss the cut, but it's not entirely shocking to me.
But as we said on the Wednesday show, and I will say this, like I think we both believe they have wins on the horizon, and I'm going to be playing them at certain degrees. But everybody was talking about Burns. Every single person was talking about Burns this week, and that's why on the Wednesday show I said I'm going to play Burns. But if you want to play Burns, different. You can't go Burns and Kokrak and some, like all those chalk.
Oh no, Gerard. He's just saying that the way we format at the bottom of the screen there, we have R3 Showdown and we've got weather. I think he's just making jokes there. We do like bad jokes. We just don't always get them.
That was a little bit over my head. I'm not gonna lie.
What kind of beer? I'm not drinking beer tonight. Yesterday I was drinking a Fat Tire, New Belgium. I want to say, where are they out of? I want to say it's Colorado. Where's New Belgium Brewery? Do you know?
I have no idea. I thought it was. Never mind. Well, no freebies yet because we don't have a sponsor. But I'm drinking Banff Ave, local beer for me. Where do I got? I owe Craig a 6-pack, so I'm sure you'll see soon that he's going to be rubbing it in my face for that Zalatoris Rose bet we had.
Yeah, and I was going to say to Barry, yes, Fleetwood to me. So if you look at those mid to low 800s, I think there's Connors, and then there's someone else who... Lanto Griffin. I think both those guys are going to attract a lot of ownership. That's part of the reason I brought up Fleetwood. I actually had Homa in there. I played both those guys today, and they both returned well for me. I had Homa in there. I think Homa is a good play. He's been playing well. He also played well in the Wind at Genesis. But I wanted to keep the whole UK rhythm flowing. So he is someone I would look at as another pivot in that area. I actually I'm going to be making balanced lineups again. I think that there's a lot of value in those eight low eights and even high eights.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I want to talk. I want to comment on Brad. Brad said your sleeper picks have been on fire. Won back-to-back weeks. 4-player parlays. Puerto Rico and Arnold Palmer. I think I don't know if Craig would agree with this, but I almost enjoy like researching the sleepers, but more diving deep into these guys. I think I take a ton of pride in our sleeper show. I think we got 6 of 6 through again to the cut.
I got my
I
three
might be
through. Yeah.
mistaken. I got my 3 through. But
It's sad because like our sleepers do better than my lineups.
I know, I know, but like it's easy to talk about Bryson and Rory and Patrick Reed. It's harder to talk like, guys, I'm going to play Keegan Bradley. I'm going to play Matt Wallace. Like, I don't know. I think they might have a chance to crack a top 20.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun.
Well, and it's hard to like, first off, it's hard to sometimes find guys depending on the tournament, and then other times it's hard to like commit because you're like, oh, I really like a few of these guys, and one of them's going to be the one who ends up with a top 10, and the other one's going to miss the cut, and it's not going to be close. For instance, Neesmith was a guy I almost ended up choosing this week, and I had ownership on him, and that one hurt because he looked good through one day and then just fell off the map. I think so. Just to Brad there. I don't think he's usually that bad of a putter. I think his ball striking is definitely his strength. Like that's what makes him a PGA Tour player. He's also he's a second year player that I think a lot of people, it's that classic. It's like Adam and I always joke, it's Madden franchise mode, because whenever we would play that, we would just load up on these young guys that got good, and it's that classic. You always want to kind of believe that a guy's just on the verge of breaking out. So I think that's where a lot of people are with Neesmith right now.
Yeah, those video games, they make you feel a little bit old. I remember our first NBA game. I think Kevin Garnett was a rookie, and he was like the best player to draft no matter what. But now he's like...
Hayden is talking Hideki next week. If you do check out our Players Championship
Hayden commented on that video.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't looked into my picks, or he's the guy you would maybe think about for one and done. I don't know if his putting was in better shape right now, I'd maybe go there. Do you know if he lives in Florida? I don't offhand.
I'm blanking. Actually.
For some reason, I thought he was like a West Coast, either California or Arizona.
I'm completely blanking. I could look it up real quick, but no, I'm blanking on Hideki. Craig, it's more Kevin, our other brother, plays more, does more kind of outright betting, but I don't think it's a bad outright. I have no idea what his price is at.
Ray has a good question there.
I love this.
I was going to say the problem is I like all three of those guys.
I love this question because I think Bez and Kirk are one of our sleepers, and Rose I
played all three of those in showdowns today. I had decent ownership on all three of them. I would say, so do you want to go first?
Sure. Sorry, I have a laptop over here. I'm reading the comments. I'm thinking about it. Like, I'm most nervous for Bez because I think his putter has been carrying him a little bit, and he's my one and done. So I feel like I want to pump the brakes on him and just like carry my one and done. And like that's why if I don't play him, that's why. I think I like Rose, and then I probably put Rose, Kirk, Bez.
See, I would say Rose, Bez, Kirk, but I think that Rose will attract the most ownership. So potentially, I think yeah. I'm gonna play all three tomorrow. So personally, I do 20 lineups though, as long as I can have enough time to make them.
Yeah, Myron, I think he was 7 under or so at the when the event was canceled last year. He's a good player. I mean, Hideki? Bez is a good player.
Oh,
Bez.
Ewan, I don't think I'm gonna play Usti next week. I think I will keep him away from my lineups.
I think I will absolutely play Usti next week.
So if he's in, are you gonna?
100% I will.
But like, what if he withdraws? Like, not even at the start, but like, what if he doesn't make it through the week?
Like what? Wednesday? Then I swap him. What do you mean?
No, like, what if he withdraws partway through?
then that happens. That happens with Usti. That happens with Day. That
So you're
happens
just
with like
hoping
those guys.
that enough people are afraid of him that it keeps the ownership low.
Yeah, like say so many people got burned. His price gets down, and he's 5, 6, 7, 8% owned. If I'm 10, 15%, but I'm okay if he withdraws and I only have 85% live, I'm okay with that.
I'll probably take a flyer, a few flyers on him, but I worry about it a bit more than you. I want to know. I'm gonna call him. I want to call his physio and see.
Where's your mattress at?
Yeah. Did you get that mattress in there? You didn't have it last week, did you?
Do you want to flip over to the leaderboard here?
Yes.
Tommy at 4,100. That's where I'm looking, Craig. Tommy at 4,100. I think he has a lot of work to do.
To outright win this week or next week?
Oh, that's probably next week. Sorry.
I don't. Oh, man. I honestly, I stay so far. I don't know enough about betting to know how I like these odds or not. So, I mean, essentially, do you say he has a 3% chance of winning? Because
this week?
Well, whatever he's referring to. Because if he has a 3% chance, then you would like those odds. If he has a 2% chance, and you know, it's somewhere in that range. And this is where I just don't know enough about it. It's something I'm starting to research and explore, but Adam's talked about this before. We hate to talk about something that we don't really know about because, you know, you just sound like idiots.
Moving down a little bit here. First, staying on Bez, Meyer and I agree. Bez has a great backstory. If that's I think it was rat poison in a Coke can. Stutters to this day. Amazing story. He's overcome a ton, and like the fact that he's still here is truly remarkable. The fact that he's playing the amazing golf is it's amazing.
Yeah, one of the things that I still don't fully
it.
know is, you know, like he was suspended by the tour. I forget if it was PGA or European Tour for taking anti-anxiety medication that was related to these things. Like, it's just one of those things that maybe there's more to that story than I know, but I just don't. I don't see how that's something. I feel like in today's day and age that would be handled with a lot more nuance than it was even 5 years ago.
Plus his dancing after he won the South African Open. I mean, I just like the guy. He seems like a good guy.
I think there's a question for you from Barry there too.
Yeah. Thoughts on Fowler? Early start, good win player. Price dropped to 7K. Nice value. Fowler dropped some bombs to make the cut, and I loved it. He started out early, and that was before I woke up, so I didn't exactly see his early run of birdies there. I have enough Fowler in tournament long that I might not play him, but I get the upside. I absolutely get the upside for Showdown tomorrow. I just don't know if I can stomach. It's a lot of.
I might take a shot or two. I'm not going to have heavy exposure to him.
I completely agree. Like he has a very nice like cutting draw through the wind. I think.
And I think he has upside.
I think absolutely has upside, and I think even from Thursday to Friday, his confidence out there, you can't drop those putts without having some kind of confidence, you know.
Yeah, I told you, Fat Tire. I thought it was Colorado. They were one of the early craft
like Dogfish
breweries, I believe, as well. Brother is talking in the chat. If it wasn't clear, Kevin Baptiste is our brother, unless there's some imposter as well out there. But he's saying that outright is all about the gut feelings. But he'll tell you that his account is sometimes on the verge of collapse, and then sometimes is overloaded when Max Homa wins. So it's doing pretty good right now. But yeah, I guess the gut feelings are working right now. Okay, I am probably getting late for dinner here, so I think we should wrap her up. Nice chatting with you guys.
Thank you everybody for joining. Yeah, hit that thumbs up. It does mean a lot to us. It helps our videos, so please do that. And good luck tomorrow.
And subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah.